This is Healthcare Bill Part number 66. Yes, we're going to continue right on with this. I know I haven't done it in a long time, but we're going to go ahead with this. And we're going to be talking about enrollment periods. Okay, these would be the period of time you could actually enroll in a healthcare plan before they cut you off for the year. Okay? And we're on page 57 under section 1311, in case you were interested. It says, the Secretary shall require an exchange to provide for an initial enrollment period as determined by the Secretary, such determination to be made not later than July 1st, 2012. So, in this particular case, the Secretary of State tells every exchange to tell every health insurance company, you have to start enrolling people on such and such a specific date, which, now that we're here at the end of 2013, that date was October 1st, 2013. So every health insurance company all over the United States has to start enrolling people right now. Okay. Then it goes on. Annual open enrollment periods as determined by the Secretary for calendar years after the initial enrollment period. Now, this would be determined by all the insurance companies combined, but they have to get it approved by the Secretary, and then they tell you exactly what date you're supposed to enroll on after this initial enrollment. And then it starts talking about in special enrollment periods specified in Section 9801 of the Internal Revenue Code of 1986. Now, I have looked up Section 9801, and what I have found is the part of this law, okay, if you want to call it that, that talks about pre-existing conditions. And yes, there are spots where they talk about enrollment periods, but it's so obscure. Now, if you guys can figure that whole language out, you are more than welcome to. If you do figure it all out, and you figure out what is meant by special enrollment periods specified in Section 9801 of the Internal Revenue Code of 1986, do leave a comment down below, alright, because I'd love to hear what you have to say. And other special enrollment periods under circumstances similar to that, to such periods under Part D of Title 28, okay, no, I'm sorry, it's 18. Title 18, not 28, 18, because the X is 10, the V is 5, and then you got 3 1, so that's Title 18 of the Social Security Act. And if you guys want to take the time to look up Section 18 of the Social Security Act and discuss it, you can go ahead and leave me a comment down below to let me know that you've done so, and I will reference your video there. Special monthly enrollment periods for Indians as defined in Section 4 of the Indian Healthcare Improvement Act. If you guys want to talk about the Indian Healthcare Improvement Act, I'd love to hear what you have to say. Alright. Here are the requirements. An exchange shall be a governmental agency or non-profit entity that is established by a state. Okay? So in other words, none of your exchanges are going to be run by private companies. They're all going to be run by either the government or some kind of a non-profit agency. And the reason for that is that if you had it run by a private company, what would happen is that they would promote one health plan over another because they were going to make money off of one health plan over the other. See what I mean? And when you have a non-profit group or you have the government running it, there is no preferences. See what I mean? In general, an exchange shall make available qualified health plans to qualified individuals and qualified employers. In other words, if you got Blue Cross and Blue Shield and United Healthcare and so on, and you know, we could go on with a whole big list of companies that offer health insurance, then this exchange would offer all of those health insurances. They wouldn't offer one or two and say, okay, you have to choose between these two. They would offer anything that was available to you. And that's because nobody could influence that exchange. That's the idea. There are limitations. In general, the exchange may not make available any health plan that is not a qualified health plan. In other words, if the exchange sees that the health plan is some kind of a shady deal, they're not going to offer it. Otherwise, they have to. Offering of a standalone dental benefit. Okay, now there are companies that specifically insure your teeth and nothing else, and they don't have to put that on the exchange. Each exchange within a state shall allow an issuer of a plan that only provides limited scope dental benefits meeting the requirements of Section 9832 CA2 of the Internal Revenue Code of 1986. If you guys want to look up Section 9832 C2A, go ahead and leave me a comment or a link to a video down below, and I will happily let you do that. Okay? To offer the plan through the exchange either separately or in conjunction with a qualified health plan if the plan provides pediatric dental benefits meeting the requirement of Section 1302 B1J. If you want to look up Section 1302 B1J, be my guest. That's in the Affordable Care Act, and maybe we'll get to it at some point. Alright. Rules relating to additional required benefits. In general, except as provided in subparagraph B, an exchange may make available a qualified health plan notwithstanding any provision of law that may require benefits other than the essential health benefits specified under Section 1302B. I think we have already covered Section 1302 because I remember covering that. States may require additional benefits. So, the government says that a health plan has to have X and Y benefits in it. The states can say, let's say like the state of Illinois. The state of Illinois, which I happen to live in, the state of Illinois can say, okay, in addition to all the benefits that the federal government is requiring you have to have these extra benefits to go along with this. Or otherwise, we won't put you on the exchange. Okay. In general, subject to the requirements of Clause 2, a state may require that a qualified health plan offered in such state offer benefits in addition to the essential health benefits specified under Section 1302B. Now, what could that mean specifically? Let's say that you have a health plan in the state of Illinois. It meets all the federal requirements, but the state of Illinois says, well, if somebody needs a wheelchair, that health plan has to pay for it. Even though in Massachusetts they don't, in Illinois they do. There you go. The state must assume cost. The state shall make payments to or on behalf of an individual eligible for the premium tax credit under Section 36B of the Internal Revenue Code of 1986 and any cost-sharing reduction under Section 1402 to defray the cost to the individual of any additional benefits described in Clause 1, which are not eligible for such credit or reduction under Section 36B, B, 3D of... Okay, So in other words, if the state government, say the state of Illinois, requires that the health plan pay for wheelchairs for the patients, okay, and the federal government's not going to reimburse that health plan for all those wheelchairs it's going to have to buy for its patients, then the state has to provide the money for those wheelchairs. I hope that wasn't too confusing. If it was, leave me a comment down below and I'll try to explain it a little bit better. Alright, but basically, I guess from what I'm getting off of this is that if a health plan has to now provide wheelchairs to all of its patients because the state of Illinois says that they have to, then the state of Illinois has to give a tax credit to these health plans to pay for those wheelchairs. And this thing goes on and on and on. I will stop this video for now. I will tell you more in a future video, so stay tuned.